Have you ever gotten ready for work, ready to hit your goal, and you find out that the time runs out? It seems that you have less time, less hours in a day than every other person, and you end up doing little or no work at all? Or do you procrastinate some activities in your to-do list because you feel you have less hours in a day to complete this work, which makes you less productive, in a day, and you end up having mental stress, bringing mental stress upon yourself? Then you need to watch this video to know how to use your time positively, and then it feels like you've gained more hours for yourself. Don't be like Miriam, who wakes up late and ends up doing no or little work at all. Wake up early today. Hi there, fam. Welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite girl Dora, a Nigerian based YouTuber living in Imo. Okay, in today's video we'll be talking about why you should wake up in the early hours of your morning. The early hours of your morning could be 4 a.m, 5 a.m, 6 a.m. Now, waking up in the early hours of the morning makes you productive, helps you to work efficiently and more effectively, and you begin to produce. You see best results in your work for yourself and for everybody around you. Waking up early in the morning helps us become best versions of ourselves, and that is what we want. Okay, so please click the red subscribe button, give the video a huge thumbs up, share to your friends and every other person so they could get the same knowledge. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Waking up early in the morning helps you build momentum for your day. It gives you time to think, time to put one or two things together. You're already planning things ahead of you, when you're going to do this, when you're going to meet this social person, and with that you will see that your day tends to move faster and accurately for you, because you've already had time to put things together. You've already had time to plan towards what you want to achieve that very day. Waking up early in the morning also helps you gain more hours. Generally, people might wake up by 6:30 a.m. in the morning, but when you wake up by, let's say, 4:30 a.m. in the morning, you're gaining more hours for yourself. You're gaining 2 more hours than every other person who is going to be waking up later. And with these 2 extra hours in a day, before you know it, you're getting 14 whole extra hours in a week, which is like 728 more hours in a year, which equals to 30 more days for you in a year to get that shit done. And these extra hours you're getting in a day helps you have mental edge over every other person, in the sense that those that wake up late or later in the day might tend to hurry, always be in a hurry, rush up their morning activity for them to begin their work properly, and then you see that they forgot something, they fail to plan their day very well, and then it makes them feel they are overworking themselves, stressing themselves, and then it affects their mental health and makes them mentally down. But with your extra hours a day, you're able to have this mental edge over every other person that wakes up later in the day. Waking up early in the morning also makes you less likely to procrastinate from your to-do list. You see that once you start tackling your to-do list in the morning, you begin to break them down bit by bit, and before the day runs out, you see yourself achieving every single thing you set aside for yourself. Unlike persons who tend to wake up late, they see themselves rushing over their to-do list, trying to meet up with the time when they've already spent some of their time in their sleep, and at the end you see them cancelling part of their to-do list because they were not able to accomplish everything they set aside for themselves that same day. They continue to push over, accumulating everything for themselves, and this could lead to mental stress, mental depression upon themselves too. So waking up early in the morning is an advantage for you. It helps you build discipline, and you have more time to exercise. Now, what kind of discipline are we talking about? Assuming you're a student and you tend to wake up in the early hours of the morning, this gives you more room, this gives you more time to go over your studies of what you're going to be having later in the day. Probably you have an in-course or you have a test. You are giving yourself extra time to go over what you've read before, giving yourself extra time to memorize things you've actually read, and this helps in your remembrance in your forthcoming test during the day. As a public worker, waking up early in the morning also helps, because you know during the day it will be all about your work activities, your office activities, documents and all that. But with the extra hours you have in a day, probably let's say that this could be your leisure time where you could get to read some non-office books, some other books that are not work related, some inspirational books, educational books, spiritual books, financial books, and all that. This gives you extra time to build yourself, to build your mindset, to build everything about you. If you're the person that like working out or exercising every single day, waking up in the morning gives you much time, more relaxation for you to exercise, do your exercise well. Now some persons, knowing that it's very important for them to wake up in the morning, still wake up late. Why are you doing this to yourself when you know that this is detrimental to your health? Probably they also want to exercise, and then they rush these things over, they rush exercise, they rush their morning routine over, and end up hurrying to work, and before you know it, this makes them break down, this makes them stressed, this makes them have mental deterioration and all that, and at the end they say that they weren't productive with their day, they couldn't bring out the best versions of themselves. With all this being said, waking up early in the morning gives you more time for yourselves, gives you more hours, more time for you to complete what you have set out to do, and sometimes in some scenarios you can even end up doing everything you have set out for yourself, and you still see that you have more time for yourself to do other things, to enjoy other things, to spend time with your loved ones and all. And with this, you find out you're bringing out the best version of yourself in your everyday living, in your day-to-day activities, and in your relationship with your family and friends. The last but not the least is that we all know that waking up early in the morning is one of the secrets to success for the most successful people we all know. So make hay when the sun shines, gain more hours for yourself. Like it is being said, successful people are those that burn their candles at night when others are asleep. So get more hours for yourself, wake up early in the morning so you could get more time to accomplish those goals you set aside for yourself, so you could get or bring out the best versions of yourself in your work, in your environment, in your relationship with people and everyone around you. So guys, you all have heard what I've said, and I hope all the things I've said in this video will make you aware of why you should wake up in the early hours of your morning. I hope you all have learned one or two things from this video. You could tell us in the comment section things you learned or some reasons why you think we should always wake up in the early hours of the morning. Okay, you could also put to practice everything that I have said in this video. Take note of the changes as you do everything I have said here, and watch how this helps you become the best version of yourself in your everyday living and in your relationship with people. So with all being said, please click the red subscribe button below if you like this kind of content. Give the video a huge thumbs up, and make sure you always wake up in the early hours of the morning. Till next time, bye.